On October 13th, 54 AD, Roman Emperor Claudius sat down to enjoy his favorite meal, a plate of fresh mushrooms prepared by his wife Agrippina. He had no idea that she had laced them with deadly poison. Claudius trusted Agrippina completely, but she had been planning his murder for months. The reason was simple. She wanted her son Nero to become emperor instead of Claudius's biological son Britannicus. Agrippina had enlisted Locusta, Rome's most skilled poison expert, to help with the assassination. As Claudius ate the mushrooms, the poison began working immediately. Within hours, he was convulsing in agony as his wife watched calmly. The emperor died that same night, and 16-year-old Nero became the ruler of Rome. Agrippina had successfully murdered her husband to put her teenage son on the throne, changing Roman history forever. The young Chinese emperor, Emperor Guangxu, had been feeling sick for months, but he never suspected that his own aunt was slowly poisoning him. Empress Dowager Cixi controlled the Qing dynasty from behind the scenes, and when Guangxu tried to reform China, she saw him as a threat. For months, she had been adding small amounts of arsenic to his tea and food. Guangxu began losing his hair, suffering severe stomach pain, and growing weaker by the day. Palace doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. On November 14, 1908, the 37-year-old emperor finally collapsed in his chambers and died. What made this even more shocking was that Cixi herself died just one day later, taking the secret of her nephew's murder to her grave. It wasn't until modern forensic testing that scientists discovered massive levels of arsenic in Guangxu's remains, proving that he had been poisoned by his own family. The mad Roman Emperor Commodus was eating dinner with his family when his sister Lucilla tried to poison his wine. But Commodus had a food taster, a slave who tested everything before the emperor ate it. When the slave took a sip of the wine and immediately collapsed, Commodus realized what was happening. His own sister had just tried to kill him. Commodus had become increasingly violent and unstable, believing he was the reincarnation of Hercules and forcing senators to fight as gladiators. Lucilla knew Rome was falling apart under her brother's rule and decided to act. She had carefully planned the poisoning with several conspirators, including her lover and some senators. When the assassination attempt failed, Commodus flew into a murderous rage. He ordered the execution of everyone he suspected, including innocent family members. Lucilla barely escaped with her life, but her brother's paranoia reached new deadly heights that would terrorize Rome for years. During a family meeting in 1448, Byzantine Emperor John VIII drank from his ceremonial wine cup, not knowing his brother Demetrios had poisoned it. The Byzantine Empire was crumbling as the Ottoman Empire closed in on Constantinople, and John was desperately trying to get help from Western Europe. His brother Demetrios saw an opportunity in the chaos. He had secretly made a deal with Ottoman agents, kill his brother and get control of what was left of the Byzantine territory. According to Byzantine records, John began convulsing within minutes of drinking the wine, with blood flowing from his mouth as palace guards watched in horror. Demetrios acted shocked and called for doctors, but it was too late. Emperor John VIII died on October 31st, 1448, with his last words reportedly asking why his own blood had betrayed him. Demetrios ruled for less than 4 years before the Ottomans destroyed Constantinople forever. Roman Emperor Caracalla was celebrating a military victory in Mesopotamia when he drank from his ceremonial cup, not knowing it contained deadly poison. The conspiracy involved his own mother, Julia Domna, and his Praetorian prefect Macrinus. Caracalla had become increasingly brutal and unstable. He had murdered his own brother Geta in their mother's arms and was bankrupting the empire with expensive wars. Julia Domna watched her surviving son's madness with growing horror and knew Rome couldn't survive much longer under his rule. She worked with Macrinus to plan the perfect assassination during the military campaign. When Caracalla drank the poisoned wine, he collapsed in front of his entire army. The 29-year-old emperor died in convulsions as his mother watched, knowing she had chosen Rome's survival over her son's life. Julia Domna had sacrificed her last living child to save the empire. On August 23, 1735, Chinese Emperor Yongzheng was in a routine meeting with court officials when he suddenly grabbed his throat and collapsed. Witnesses said he was gasping for air before falling unconscious and dying shortly after. The official cause of death was kept secret, but many historians believe his own sons poisoned him. Yongzheng had been ruthlessly eliminating potential threats to his power, including several of his own brothers who had competed for the throne. His surviving sons feared they might be next on his list. Palace physicians found evidence of poisoning, but were ordered to stay silent about it. His son, who became Emperor Qianlong, moved suspiciously fast to take control and eliminate potential witnesses. The new emperor had likely orchestrated his father's death to prevent his own execution, choosing to murder his father rather than risk being killed himself.